why is this happening to me? If you looked at my CV, you would say, oh, she's a butterfly, she's unstable. And the end was, I think, when I was just going through burnout. Really what I was trying to do is numbing myself from feeling. I resigned. I felt pregnant. And
speak of stress messing with everything in your life. Welcome, welcome. In today's episode, you are going to hear a conversation with Steph, a really brave woman who shares her life journey. And I guarantee you will probably see yourself in her in some of those real pivotal moments of where perhaps she may not have listened to her instinct or those little whispers from life that are nudging her in one direction. And then also other instances where she has. And it's just such a beautiful way of a story that unfolds itself in the most magical way of all, because in each key milestone, in each key awakening or moment that required transformation, it also set her up to become the next woman that she needed to be in order to thrive in the chapter that was required of her next. So without further ado, enjoy the episode and I'll see you inside. Welcome to Resonance, a podcast for ambitious, heart-led humans craving more balance, depth, and aliveness in their lives. I'm your host, Vic, health coach, yoga teacher, facilitator, and fellow high achiever, learning to live in tune with my nervous system, not against it. And this space is here to remind you that you can have it all. The career, the success, the fulfillment, all aligned with your truth. Through honest conversations, expert insights, and practical tools, we'll explore how to work with your body, mind, emotions, and spirit, not against them. And the best part, you don't have to stay stuck in survival mode to get there. Because true well-being is not about being perfect. It's about being in resonance. Let's dive in. Okay, so I'll just give you a quick intro to Steph. Stephanie is a fellow health coach. She also did her certification with the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And we actually really intimately came together in a coaching program that we did together called Ascendance. And that's where we really got to know each other. We kind of saw the ups and the downs of life through this container. And it just felt so special to invite Steph on because I knew that she had so much lived experience to share that you'll get to hear here today. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, she was the easiest podcast guest to host because I only had to ask her one question. I mean, maybe a couple more here or there, but really, I love it. We'll definitely have to get Steph back on the show so she can share more of her wisdom and I know that you will just really enjoy what she has to share with you today. And some of the key kind of themes that she's woven through is also about stress and like those moments in life where stress was actually showing up as a negative influence, both in her physical body, but maybe even her mental and emotional body. Like I found it so mind-blowing that in fact stress was also linked to her I guess inability to conceive until those stressors were reduced. So you'll hear a little bit more about that in the episode without kind of spoiling it too much for you. I'll let you enjoy the goodies for yourself and I'll see you inside. And we are live. Amazing. Steph, thank you so much for joining me in Resonance. I mean, it is so special. Last time we spoke, actually, this was like still just an idea in my head when we were in Ascendance together. Wow. And here we are.
Yeah, well, congratulations on taking the steps, because I know it's not one step, but several ones, and making it happen. I'm really excited for you and for the content and for the whole journey.
Thank you. And look, I mean, let's dive in. I would love for you to maybe just introduce yourself to people who may not know you, who you are, where you're from, what you do, and kind of what got you onto this path of wellness and self-care and mindful living.
I'm originally from France. I have a background, well, very mixed background, but my main two come from a Lebanese dad and a French-Italian mom. I was born and raised in France, but traveled a lot, lived in several countries. And I am an integrative nutrition health coach, and I have done the IAN program. I am currently enrolled in the CIP, by the way.
Oh my gosh, you made the move. Congratulations.
I did like literally a day before the starting date. I was kind of pushing it back. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. You know what? Let's do it.
Yeah.
And actually, you were kind of the reason, that I've done it, because you really kind of, you shared how really it took your coaching skills to the next level. And that's really what I want, I want to gain skills, confidence also, because, experience and knowledge, that's authentic confidence, I would say. So yeah, I'm doing this currently to take my coaching skills, to the next level. Wow. And also continue my path on this health and wellness quest or journey, if I may say. I don't know that there was, I thought about this question yesterday. I was kind of tossing and turning in my bed. And I don't know that there was one single event that led me to decide, okay, I'm going to take care of my health, I think for as long as I remember, I've always took care of myself, but not in a holistic way.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. We'll dive into that for sure.
I wasn't completely aware, but I think the awareness kind of built up over time. And I did have this very strong instinct, this gut instinct that you have, but I wasn't listening to it. I kept ignoring it until my body was in an inflammation state, really badly. But as long as I remember, I try to really picture, the first, like if you were to ask me this question, the first picture, and I see myself as a 6-year-old.
Oh, wow.
I see myself going and knowing that I have barely no memory, of my childhood or anything. I see myself going in this little village in the south of France where we used to live. And I go to the church and I don't get into the church. I just listen to the priest preaching, talking, Wow. And I used to do that a lot, but I was too shy to go in.
Wow, that's so interesting.
And the priest kept he kept seeing me. Kind of
Who's this like little 6-year-old girl lurking outside of the church?
Yeah. I take my bike and go, And so I told my mom, it seems like your daughter is interested. And, we have catechism classes if she will want to come. So I did attend those catechism classes. But for me, that was kind of the first connection I had with my spirituality. I always believed in God. I don't know how, but I always believed in God. And at this time, I wasn't eating. Like my mom told me, even as a baby, I would refuse eating. I would refuse milk,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like bottled milk, because my mom had a disease, so she couldn't breastfeed me. But I would refuse milk. And at that time, we were living actually in the US. And what was available and easy for my mom, and she thought it was good, were like these little cereal packs,
Oh no.
with colorants and additives, the marshmallows, with the vampire and the little and I'm like, when my mom told me that, I'm like, that's disgusting. How could you do that to me?
She had no idea, right? Like, bless our parents, they're just doing the best they know, right?
Absolutely. And she said, you wouldn't eat anything, like you just wouldn't. And when I think about it,
Mm-hmm.
it was a way for me to say something. It was my
Mm.
body saying something, you know. Of
Yeah.
course, as a little 5, 6, or even a baby, couldn't
Mm-hmm.
know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but now, where I am today, I kind of understood the meaning behind
Okay.
it all. I understood that, the connection between a mother and her baby is formed like in the womb, and
Mm-hmm.
all the mother's trauma, the family
Yeah.
history, the grandmother, everything, it's
Yes.
inherited, whether I want
Oh,
it or
yeah.
not,
Whether you like it
it's
or
here.
not, genetic lottery,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah. Like if you think about it, why would a baby not eat? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about baby, and I was underweight as a baby. They kept giving me, all this treatment, vitamins. I spent 2 years in a hospital when I was a kid, like 7, 8. I literally
Mm-hmm.
didn't go to school. Technically, I skipped a class, but
Mm-hmm.
I was a sick kid, I was a sick kid, a quiet kid that you you should not disturb, you should not trigger,
Mm-hmm.
because she's gonna get sick. And
Mm-hmm.
as far as I remember, I've lived with inflammation all my life. Later,
Yeah.
in my adulthood, of course, I didn't know I was gluten and lactose intolerant. I didn't know that. I didn't know I had
Uh-huh.
IBS. I didn't know all of that.
Yeah.
So I think I've always had eating disorders also. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the first time, that I kind of acknowledge it. But I
Mm-hmm.
do, and it started since I was a baby. When I was
Yeah.
a baby, it started.
Yeah.
So, and the first time I wanted to do something about it is
Mm-hmm.
during my early young adult life. I was
Mm-hmm.
still kind of uni, finishing my uni. I was partying a lot. At the time, I thought it was happiness.
Yeah. Living your
Just
best life.
yeah, partying a lot, drinking a lot more than my own body could even put up with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Seeing too many people. Too much of everything. Eating
Mm.
absolutely unhealthy. I would eat like once per day, but junk,
Mm-hmm.
you know, wouldn't
Right.
cook, wouldn't,
And like what kind of junk, just for
There was easy
curiosity?
for example, I would come home after a day of study, and I would go and eat like a sandwich, like a
Mm.
kebab sandwich,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. I wouldn't eat the fries, but yeah. Yeah,
Because I
and
was on a diet.
yeah, because I don't like it. Yeah, but anyways,
Fair.
I and in this short period, I put on so much weight. I didn't understand.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
So I started going to the gym, but I was hopeless. I was kind of, and I think it's one day I went and saw my doctor, my GP. I said, listen, I cannot put up with myself at
Mm-hmm.
this weight. I gained so much weight. There is something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did some tests, and I had a thyroid dysfunction, you know,
Wow.
plus
Mm-hmm.
the all the triggers that I was injecting myself with, the
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, the weed
Mm-hmm.
also. Sorry, but the
Mm-hmm.
weed, a lot of weed.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. Yeah,
But
the
yeah, I was,
sugar, the maybe something
yeah,
more than weed, judgment-free zone here,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah, so I was injecting, myself with a lot of substance. And why I thought I was
mm,
happy, really, what I was trying to do is
mhm.
numbing myself from feeling.
Yes. Ew, that F word, what is feeling, right? Back then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Mm.
even, in my relationships, there was everything was so intense. Everything was so intense. Just, on a scale of 100
Mm-hmm.
to 100. Yeah,
Really?
everything was so intense. But so when I saw this doctor, he gave me actually a diet. at the time, I didn't understand that it was also an anti-inflammatory diet.
Mm-hmm.
And he put me on a thyroid hormone,
Mm-hmm.
because I had some nodules and stuff. And it's like my life changed,
Mm-hmm.
and I started actually cooking.
Wow.
I started like, getting to know about food,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding the the relationship between our well-being
Mm-hmm.
and the food we consume and the sleep that we get or we don't get,
Mm-hmm.
naturally. And all of that, I would say, was kind of the beginning. I
Yeah.
lost weight, started, implementing better healthy habits, but I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there yet. I wasn't there yet.
Well, it's not a linear process, right? It's kind of we tend to be so hard on ourselves, but it takes time.
It did.
Yeah.
Then I think there was a second stage when I had finished my uni and I need to
Mm-hmm.
do like a traineeship. So I did a major in communication and journalism. So and I need to do a traineeship, an internship.
Mm-hmm.
And in France at the time, everything, like all the options were like very boring to me.
I could just see
Um,
that on your face. It's like, ugh.
it was boring,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had a life event. My grandmother passed away, and I was really, really close to my grandmother. She
Mm-hmm.
was she was stability to me. She was my safe space. She was my safe place. She was this unconditional love that I didn't get from my parents, but I did get from my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother. And it felt like I couldn't be in the same city. Um, I couldn't live with the same habits, and her not calling me anymore, me not going to visit her. Especially, I lived with her for a very long time. I lived
Right.
with, yeah,
Okay.
when my mom and I came back from the US when I was a baby, we lived with her for 2 years. So
Mm-hmm.
she took great care of me. Then she was the one babysitting me. And then as a young adult, when I was at uni, I lived with her, for like
Right.
2 years. So I was really, 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 really close to her.
Very
My
close.
grandmother was like, um, she wasn't my birth mother, but she did actually had a mother role to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had at the same time, and look at this alignment and
Mm-hmm.
the synchronicity at the same time. So my grandmother passes away in March. I had to find an internship by June.
Okay.
I I had friends, they were
Mm-hmm.
from Morocco at the time, students from Morocco. And one of them had returned over there. She had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend was looking for someone for an internship, kind of, night and cultural event reporter for 6 months. And she
You're
calls me.
joking.
And I'm like, I think it took me like a week. I'm like, okay, I'm coming. Easy.
Wow. That's amazing. Like that synchronicity is just mind-blowing.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think 2 weeks later, I was in Morocco living for 5 years, and
Mm-hmm.
it was an amazing journey. A lot of discoveries. People tend to eat like the food is amazing in Morocco,
Mm.
and people tend to eat like home cooked food like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that has also, kind of continued, the path that I was on eating healthy and, being a young adult and being responsible for what I eat, what I put in my mind, in my body. But at this stage, I was just on kind of, I would say very superficial layers, like
Yeah.
the body, what is visible to the eye,
The
the
physical
body.
health kind of, yeah, which is I think where most of us
Yes,
start, to be honest,
yes,
because it's the most tangible, it's the most
yes.
accessible part.
That's the one we can see every day also.
Yes. And also kind of media and culture and everything really makes it hard for us not to focus on that part as well, especially as a young woman.
Especially as a millennial, you can say.
Yes, especially as a young millennial woman.
Yeah, yeah. So I think fast forward, I taught me so much. Like this experience taught me so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I had deceptions after deceptions in my relationships. At the time, I didn't feel like teaching and learnings. I saw
Mm-hmm.
it from, I think, a victim mentality a bit. Like, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Why does everything keep happening to me? I mean, it's so cliche,
Why
but
is the
it's
universe
so,
against me?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, why? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why? And at the time, so I eventually I finished my internship and I made some great connections. I met amazing people and I went on my little adventure. And every time I was coming back to France, there was like a job kind of bringing me back to Morocco. And
Wow.
yeah, I lived in several cities and I ended up spending almost 5 years, like 4.5 years. Then um, by the end, I had an apartment that had a gym just downstairs. And I
Mm-hmm.
started going every day, obsessing, and cutting like everything. Like, no, I don't eat this, that, to the
Okay.
extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And I
One
started
extreme to the
really
next.
obsess, absolutely. And I
Mm-hmm.
started obsessing, like, oh no, no carbs, not these, just high protein, just high these. And
Mm-hmm.
again, not taking into account, like, for example, too much protein is hard on your kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Mm-hmm.
have the water also to kind of flush it out, and you have to be able to digest, etc., etc. So this was my path kind of thing. And along the way, I learned so much about
Mm-hmm.
all of that. After, when I really burnt out because I was doing this extreme, I wanted to have this extreme control over my
Mm.
eating, over my physical
Yeah.
appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And at work.
Right. Yeah.
And at work, I changed a lot. Like, I mean, I had several jobs and several positions in Morocco at this time. Like, if you looked at my CV, you would say, oh, she's a butterfly, she's unstable, but
Mm.
I don't know. But I, um, I really, really, really learned a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
the end was, I think, when um, I was just going through burnout.
Mm.
I know.
Well, I don't actually. I didn't know that you
Yeah,
experienced burnout in your story as well. Like I'm learning so much about you, so I would love to
mm,
hear a little bit more about kind of what happened, and I can see how it led to it. But yeah, I would love
yeah.
to.
So I was working like a lot. Like, I was single, I didn't have any
Mm.
partner, didn't have any kids, and my boss would take advantage of it. On a
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, for example, on a weekend, it was a small company. Hey, girls, do you want to go and have a coffee? We were foreigners over there. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like we didn't have family to visit during the weekends or
Mm.
anything else to attend, let's say, other than go to the gym or. So I would be like, okay, but he would always take the opportunity to kind of make us work, but I didn't see it like that at the time. I saw it
Interesting.
as this meritocracy kind of philosophy. The
Mm-hmm.
more you do, the more you deserve. And
Please,
because
can we debunk that? Like, it is not true.
absolutely not. And that's how, that's the mentality. Like, I've seen my uncles, my dad, everyone around me, the society, this patriarchal society that we live in.
Yeah.
That's the myth we've
Mm-hmm.
been fed since we were born. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
have you find a work, you find a job, okay, you're good at it, you do
Mm-hmm.
what you have to do, and you stay in the same company forever.
Mm-hmm. And you sell your
That's
soul to
yeah,
that company
yeah.
and then you
And
retire.
exactly, or you open your own company and you just
Mm.
exactly you give everything until you
Mm-hmm.
have a heart attack, or that's what happened to my dad, for example. And
Mm.
but no, he didn't die. It just
Yeah. But
I
well,
wouldn't say that, yeah,
it was probably a big wake up call for him.
to slow down. But
Yeah.
anyways, I fast forward. I had this, I would go home and I would just feel this energy, like I was totally drained. I would do what I had to do, and it started feeling that I was kind of pushing myself every day. I was pushing myself. I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I did it because I had to, because I made a commitment, because I had bills to pay,
Yep.
And I remember during the weekend, as soon as my job was, over, my day was over, I would go home. I would smoke weed from Morocco, of course.
Yeah.
And I would sleep. And that's what I wanted to do. And my phone would go off. My friends would go, come on, let's go, let's party. I'm like, no, you know what? I decided I don't want to drink anymore. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's not good for me. And I was starting to have, like, I had all the signs, these little, veins that were popping out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I would just like bloat totally,
Well, it's poisoning your body, right? Like,
absolutely, it was poisoning my body. So, and this was a very difficult process because, socially, it's like you go out to drink. I mean, what do you mean you don't drink? Oh, what are you? Are you some kind of extremist? Why don't you drink? What is that?
God.
What are you going to do if you don't drink? Like, that's so boring.
Everyone thinks you're so weird. We'll circle back to that as well because I have a pretty funny story to tell you. Okay, just a quick break here. If you love these kinds of conversations, you might also enjoy my newsletter. It's like a breath of fresh air in your inbox. Slow, seasonal, and always real. An email that you actually want to read for a change. If that sounds like your cup of tea, you can sign up below at liveandhealth.co or through the link in my bios at liveandhealth. Now let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, so this took a long time because every time I was exposed, and friends would be like, come on, just a glass, come on, just a glass. And I started cutting down like hard alcohol, like, the whiskey, vodka, whatever. Then it was wine. And then I was like, oh, no. And then I remember last time I had a cup of champagne, actually it was my uncle's place, it was Easter. And I said, okay, that's it. I like this ending because it's, around a family meal. It's not like me blacking out, in a club or something like that, So I'm like, okay, you know what? I just don't want it. And it's like, it's time I listen to myself, to my body, because my body has been talking to me. Why am I doing this? I started that, and I started praying, meditating, and looking in religious texts. I started exploring all these options, and my life totally changed. It's actually this moment where my sister was about to deliver. So I'm like, okay, I'm leaving Morocco. I want to be there. I mean, that's it. That's the next chapter of my life. And at that time, I had acquired, let's say, a bit of health and wellness routine,
Yeah.
And I was starting to dig a bit more. And my sister had my niece, and all the baby weight and all the sleep deprivation and all of that directly impacts, it's like you just become another person, whether you want it or not, And fast forward, I had kept kind of the same until I became a mother.
Right.
Yeah. So I got married. I moved to Dubai, where my husband was living at the time. We spent 7 beautiful years over there. And when I came over there, I was kind of, going to the gym, taking care, because I had built healthy, habits, taking care of my eating, and I was now in charge.
And that was still mostly like
being.
The physical body, like the physical health area. Yeah.
Yeah, I started going to the gym. I was in charge also, like when you live with a person, it's, meals have a different meaning. And my husband also was very body conscious, like taking care of his health, but on a physical level also. When I was pregnant, I struggled to gain weight. To accept, not to gain weight. To
Oh,
accept,
okay. Yeah.
not to
Yeah.
gain weight. No, I gain weight. To accept gaining weight.
Yeah.
And my friend suggested I go and see this beautiful, amazing German Syrian lady, Sarah. She was actually doing the aura reading.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, and she was also doing like past regression live,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and their hypnose. And so I
Mm-hmm.
went and saw her, and I think that was kind of the beginning. I can't remember before if I had kind of, that kind of exposure, but and we went down there, you know.
And so before you
And
go there, can you just
yeah,
explain what down there means? Because I know what you're talking about, but the listeners might not understand what you're referring to when you say down there.
So basically, at that time, I had a concern, which was accepting my body to change for my, my son's well-being, for my baby, because I was carrying life, you know. So I went to see her, and we started by digging into my childhood. I was put on a bed, and I think there was some kind of background music, you know, and I was in this theta state, which is actually this state very similar, which is actually a wave. Theta is a wave, and your brain is on this wave when you just got up, when you just wake up, or when you're about to fall deeply asleep. And that is a state that is believed to be actually the ideal state if you want to change belief, limiting belief. So that's what hypnosis is, kind of thing, you know. You're guided to go on this state, and then the magic happens. So with Sarah, we started doing past life regression. So today I'm here, I'm Stephanie, I'm 42. We went back to Stephanie when she was 5, you know, the first memory I could have, you know. And then you go up, 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 up. And what you do is all this picture that you have, because it's all like these memories, they could be feeling, but they're pictures. The first thing is what could be a smell, could be, but for me it was a picture. And we go and we try to give the child, which is your now inner child, what it needed at the time, and that what he didn't get, or she, in my case, she didn't get, you know. And we go on like that, and the aim is to provide what we needed at the time and that we didn't get, you know. And that's how the healing starts, I would say. That's how the process starts. And then she implemented actually what we did that for kind of my life. And then she implemented a goal. Okay. So for me, it was to, my goal was to have a healthy pregnancy and to see food as nourishing my body and nourishing my baby, you know, and to shift the focus, as we know very well.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
And look, it really worked, because I gained 24 kilos. But you know what? I had the most amazing pregnancy. I had a very healthy baby. I had, a very healthy pregnancy. I mean, nothing to say on that. So yeah.
Amazing.
After that, I had all this weight to lose. So I delivered, and everyone told me, oh, you know, when you deliver, half of the weight goes, you know, the baby's weight and the water, you know, the amniotic liquid. And I went back to my gynecologist after I delivered. I was a kilo heavier. I'm like, how is that possible? How can that happen? You know,
isn't that wild?
I was like, I don't understand. This is the same scale. It's not even like a different scale. And thankfully, and I'm going to say thankfully, it was a man, because I also, my experience, men gynecologists tend to be a lot more softer than women, and gentle and subtle. Because women, it's like, we all have the same thing. Let's go there, and it's very straightforward,
just boom, in we
very
go.
blunt, and it didn't work with me. I don't like that. No, I want a bit of, So and
just give me a little bit of like, take me out to dinner first.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you were like, oh, don't worry, it's normal. Women in average, they go back to their weight or about their weight, the previous weight in 6 months. I was like, oh, cool. I actually have 6 months. What came after, I think, really was like the second big kind of wake up call. Yeah. Because I was in a body that I didn't recognize. I had all this joy and love for my son. I was completely obsessed with him. So obsessed that, I had stopped working before he was born. Oh, by the way, this is a very important one. We wanted to have a baby with my husband, and it was just not happening. So we went on and did some tests. Super fertile, compatible. Okay. I'm like, okay, so, okay, good. But I was so stressed at work. It would just not happen. I resigned. I felt pregnant a week after, 5 days after.
Stop it.
You know the cycle, this part of the cycle where you're not fertile on your app, you're not supposed to be fertile. That's when I felt pregnant.
You're joking.
That's when I become, no.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. I know, right? It's and
speak of stress messing with everything in your life. Wow.
Yeah, and I prayed so much to have a baby. I didn't want 10, I didn't want 5, I wanted one baby, and I really and I was really blessed with the most adorable and very challenging also son.
Now that he's growing up and maybe, not as cute as he was when his cheeks were plump and he couldn't speak.
Yeah. No, definitely. But no, it's So, when you have to take care of a human being, and it's your responsibility. And I felt so alone because I delivered in France. I wanted to be with my family. Yeah. But I had a bit of miscalculation, because what that meant is having everyone around me. And what I was happy, but I was overwhelmed. I was like, I just want to be alone with my baby. That's all that I want. Like, my sister, my mom, okay, but everyone was coming. I was happy, but at the same time, I wanted to be alone. And then we went back to Dubai, and my husband, went back to work. And so it was me and my son. And I think for the first month, I didn't get out of the house at all. That's how it was. My son would not sleep. He would just not sleep.
Just not at all?
I mean, yeah, he would sleep, but, during the day, like a baby, it's normal for a baby, you're here. That, okay, at the beginning, it's a bit, but I didn't actually. I was like, what is that? I mean, am I supposed to wake up because at the beginning, they need to eat. They don't have any reserves. So it's like 2 hours. They need to eat, so you have to feed them, whatever, if you're breastfeeding or if you, anyways. Breastfeeding, that also, I really wanted to breastfeed. For me, I saw myself breastfeeding, my son for 2 years, Well, it turned out my son has had a very strong suction, and it really damaged me. And after a week, so it got the colostrum. Basically, I had to stop, and I was crying. I think I put too much stress on myself, and it just didn't work. And society making you feel guilty about it, like, but try again. It's not supposed to be pleasant, Okay, it hurts a bit, but I mean, what do you think? I'm like, well, you know what? No.
It's like, you give it a go and then we'll talk, Exactly. It's like we don't know
use your
what
nipples?
Another person.
Why don't you use your nipples? Yeah.
Yeah.
The baby if you want.
Exactly.
Yes, So that was a bit of a deception. This and the sleep deprivation. There was this melting pot of extreme happiness, but extreme. I don't know who I am anymore. That's a new identity. I'm a mother. I have this new body. I have these new responsibilities. Like this human being is entirely reliable on me. You know, he's yeah. And I didn't have time to go to the gym. I didn't have anyone to leave my son with, and I didn't want to send him to nursery. So after a month, my husband's like, "What about you get some help? Yeah, around the house. What about that? Especially we're living in Dubai, and it's very common in Dubai to have some help. So I got some help, and that was the beginning for me. At the beginning, I would not leave my baby, but when he was asleep, I would go to sleep. And I had someone taking care of all the house chores, so I didn't have to do that, you know?
Yes.
And gradually, when the trust started building, I started going to the gym, you know? Started going to the gym, and I'm still in contact with a few people over there because they became friends, they became family. Almost, you can say. One of them sends me like reels all day, like I'm working for him, you know. And I have to listen to watch all the reels and the video he sends me on WhatsApp. I'm like, mate, it's 2 hours your video. Like, do you really think I'm ever gonna watch it?
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's always very interesting, but yeah. And so after that, I started going to the gym. And when my son started nursery, I would have this routine. I would drop him and I would go straight to the gym every single day except the weekend, you know. And I started connecting to my body, reconnecting to my body, something that I had not felt in the past, not to that extent. I started approaching food differently. Actually, I started I don't want to go back to work full time because I wanted to take care of my baby, but I wanted to have an activity. I was interested, I really got into health and wellness, tried many things. And I found this online ad saying, hey, do you want to become a health coach, whatever? So I jumped because, you know, it was from home and it was convenient. I did that. So I was selling food supplements and kind of shakes, protein shakes for a company. And it was like a franchise thing where you had your own website, but you were independent, etc., etc. I loved it. And I benefited from it because I started taking like the supplements and I saw how omegas, for example, you know, are important for you, etc., etc. And as a new mom, it really helped me. But I didn't like how I was being asked to sell just to sell, you know.
Yeah. Network marketing is tricky like that.
Yeah, it was MLM, and I was like, I love what I'm doing. I'm loving that I'm helping people, you know, take care of themselves and become aware of their health and what they put into their body and the changes, the outcomes. But I don't like just to sell to people. That maybe you know, some people, they don't need that. I'm going, oh, do you eat 3 times per week fish? Oh, you don't? Or just take the omegas then. No, that doesn't look like me. So from there, I actually hired a life coach, because I was lost in my life, going everywhere and nowhere at the same time. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get there. And everything seemed like too much, you know, like unreachable, you know. So I had to take care of all of that. You know, I was a mother, I was a spouse, and like my personal life, me was totally on the side. The only thing I was doing for myself was the gym. Every day going to the gym, you know, and making sure I provide healthy meals to my son. Like my son has never eaten like a cooked, like, you know, an outside cooked meal when we're going to restaurants, of course, but like, pre-packed, or like, the
Mm-hmm.
little pot, or like totally opposite to what I had when I was his age.
Yes, yes, those 80s, 90s kids, hey?
Yes. And then I started really focusing on that, and it really helped me actually to have a coach,
Mm-hmm.
because it really kind of set me on the path, and it came to precise what I really wanted. And health coach was it. I wanted to take care
Yeah.
of people and to help them in their health and well-being, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
was it. In the process, that's the magic of coaching. I had the relationship with my father that came very big. It kept coming back, coming back, coming back. I
Yes.
was saying,
Yeah.
these are my goals, but it was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And so my coach was quite amazing, because she kind of put everything else on the side, and we dealt with that. We dealt
Mm.
with, and I don't even know how it happened. A lot of crying, a lot of,
Yes.
getting
Release.
out this
Like,
energy getting out.
mm-hmm.
And I was able after that to have like the best relationship with my father I've ever had. It's like
Wow.
I looked at him differently,
Mm-hmm.
and I understood things differently, and it had a ripple effect. It was the same with my mother, and the
Mm-hmm.
same with my work relationship that had ended really badly also. Last time I worked in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that, and I would say that was the healing that really
Mm-hmm.
started. I was kind of taking charge for the first time.
Yeah.
For the first time, I felt empowered, and I
Mm-hmm.
decided to continue it. And
Mm-hmm.
I went and saw a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And in Dubai, to see a psychologist, you need a psychiatrist referral.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
I had
didn't
to
know
see him.
that.
And it was just before COVID.
Mm.
So I went and saw him. And I'm like, listen, I know you're trying to prescribe me some of your drugs. I'm not taking any of your drugs, okay? And he did like this, I think it's called the DSM-5.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this
It's like
form.
similar to the Oh, yeah. Sorry, you go.
I think it's to what? Similar to what?
I thought it was similar to EMDR, but no, it must be something different.
I did EMDR actually with the
Yeah.
therapist, but
Uh-huh.
this is like a form where you're going to be asked like questions whether or not you have trauma, like who didn't have trauma in their life,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and because I tested positive to more than 10 items or something like that at the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
he diagnosed me with general anxiety disorder, okay, and he
Okay.
gave me SSRI, So
Really?
yeah, and like he convinced me. He's like, it's chemical. Serotonin is made like in the gut,
Mm-hmm.
97%. So this is just something soft. It will help you. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I give it a try. Give it a
Mm-hmm.
try. And in parallel, I was doing EMDR actually with my therapist, the most
Mm-hmm.
amazing therapist I've ever had. I love the
Mm-hmm.
sessions with her. I
Mm-hmm.
continued that until COVID, because then she left the clinic. She went somewhere else. But I continued taking that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was numb. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel anything. No extreme
Mm-hmm.
joy, no, nothing. But
Mm-hmm.
again, I think, at that time it helped me
Mm-hmm.
because I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
We then moved to Australia. You know, it was COVID everywhere, but in Australia there was no COVID, so we could live freely. We could, Sydney, it was
Yeah.
beautiful. It was new. I was
Mm-hmm.
mom again.
Mm-hmm.
Putting patches before it was food, alcohol,
Yeah.
weed, whatever, and now another
Yeah.
band-aids.
Some
Patching.
SSRIs.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And I it was actually really challenging, really challenging time, because we came here because my brother-in-law had pancreatic cancer.
Right.
And for my husband, it was very very important to be next to his brother,
Mm-hmm.
and for my son also to be next to his uncle. And he was
Mm.
very close to his uncle. He was his uncle's favorite, actually.
Yeah.
And we did go through a very difficult year, but a year full of learning because
Mm-hmm.
we were living in the family house.
Mm-hmm.
So they divided the family house into three kind of houses. And we went through, then COVID hit, no
Mm-hmm.
school, and I couldn't go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get out, couldn't go to the
Mm-hmm.
hairdresser. And so I needed to act, I felt everyone needed something from me, because
Yes.
my brother-in-law was the brother. He was the father. He was the husband. He was the uncle. He was the brother. He was the son. I was the sister-in-law. So I was the most detached. So I
Mm-hmm.
felt the responsibility toward everyone.
Yeah.
And at that time, I wanted to breathing. I go online. Don't ask me how, but I ended up going to Morocco, which was my Japanese ThetaHealing teacher.
You're
And
joking.
I book online, and I didn't know what it was. I've never
Mm-hmm.
heard of it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that sounds interesting. I had tried a few things in the
Mm-hmm.
past. I go and see her,
Yeah.
and I I leave her place. The first day feels like shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Well, you
And
stirred
I
everything
text
up from the
her,
subconscious. Yeah.
absolutely, and she's like,
Uh-huh.
"That's absolutely normal.
Yeah.
It's getting out, just
Mm-hmm.
soak in a bath of magnesium, like Epsom
Mm-hmm.
salt, something, and take it easy," which I did. And
Mm-hmm.
I cried, 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 cried. And then
Mm-hmm.
I had the most amazing feeling. And I'm like, listen, I harassed her for a few months. I'm like, I want to know. I want to know how to do that. I
Yeah.
want to know. And you're going to teach me. And she was so busy because, she had like a day job. She's doing that on the
Mm-hmm.
side. But I harassed her until we did it. So yeah, I
Yeah.
did it, and I became certified. And
Mm-hmm.
I initially used it on my brother-in-law that had cancer.
Yeah.
And after each session, he would feel so relieved.
Wow.
I adjusted the format with him because it
Mm-hmm.
was more at the beginning. I thought I could save him.
Mm.
I thought, if I can clear everything, I can save him.
Mm-hmm.
But then by the end, I had understood that that wasn't my role because
No.
I'm not the creator.
It's not your karmic,
Yeah, and
responsibility. Yeah.
I'm not the creator. I don't bring life. I don't take life. And
Mm.
my role is I was even when say we're healers, we're not healers. I don't believe we're healers. We're
Mm.
vessels. The
Yeah, we just
healer is the
facilitate the
creator.
space.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. We
Yeah.
facilitate. We are like vessels, really.
Yeah, channels.
And
Mm.
he so many things got out, and
Mm.
so he when he left, he was cleared. All the
Mm-hmm.
anger, the regret, all of that, he was
Mm-hmm.
cleared. And I was at peace. I was at
Mm-hmm.
peace. I wasn't angry because we saw him suffering so much. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there was kind of, it was very challenging, but it was a very, very, very life-changing experience for me because
Mm-hmm.
I never practiced as much, theta healing
Mm-hmm.
than I did with him. And he would ask, like, for daily sessions, and it would require a lot from me,
Yeah, it's very
energy.
energetically heavy. Yes.
And after that, after he passed, it took me a few months. I'm like, I need to clear that because I was still holding on, and
Mm-hmm.
I saw someone that is someone that I do mentoring / meditation sessions every month now with,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and she just cleared all the energy. She channeled, and that was better. Yeah. And that's when I decided, you know what? Okay, I should do something for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Make some dummies. And this thing is, I wanna go back to work, but I don't want to go to corporate world. I don't want to work for anyone. I don't want to work for some man that is going to kind of uh, uh, sugarcoat everything about me. Oh, she's amazing, ma, and then kind of have a narcissistic
Mm-hmm.
relationship with me, and then I'm nothing. I don't do this right, and blah blah blah. Like, I don't want
Mm-hmm.
that. I've healed that. I know that's not for me. I need a
Mm-hmm.
space but I want to create my space. And
Yeah.
I have enrolled in IIN.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I would say, I think we're good on timing. That was, I think I
Perfect.
did an hour of talking.
You're so good. You're honestly like the easiest podcast guest ever. Keep going.
Anytime, my pleasure. Yeah, and so it brings us to today, where I've also tried quantum, what they call it, bioenergy feedback. It's quantum healing. I rarely go to the doctor. Not saying people should not go to the doctor.
People just find their own thing,
Absolutely. I stopped all medication. I stopped everything, even my thyroid thing. It has, kind of implications, but that's how I chose to live, in a very holistic and natural as much as I can, little swaps at home. I don't use anything toxic. My makeup, I change all my makeup. I rarely put makeup. It's really because, but I
feel very special
anymore. I let everything breathe. I didn't even have time to kind of dry my hair. Before, the old me would have been gone nowhere,
You look stunning.
Thank you, Vic. It's not even about that. It's like, I think I'm more focused on my inner world. It has been like that for quite a while, for a few years.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm not focused also, on my outer world, but it's not, it doesn't take over,
Yes. Yeah. It's like as within, so without, right?
Absolutely.
And I think you've shared like such an incredible, like the most incredible journey, and I have learned so much about you. Like, I'm so grateful for what you've shared of, as you say, those kind of ebbs and flows of life. And now I really kind of hear what you meant when it wasn't like one event or anything. It was really like life's lessons and the journey that kind of either you listened, or if you didn't listen, then it would push you a little bit harder in the right direction. And so I guess my last question to you, as we kind of prepare to wrap up, and the listeners here look to take learnings from your journey and perhaps see like how it could apply to them. If there was one thing that someone would take away from today's episode, what do you wish that would be, that really resonates with them?
Two things, actually.
You can have three.
And you know why? Because this message has been showing up for me like all this week. And I take notes of things that come up, and I keep seeing, whether it's on social media, when you have a discussion with a friend or anyone, and there are two things. The first one is your wounds, where it hurts, is actually your way out.
Oof. Yeah.
More poetically, your wounds, they are not in the way, they are the way, Where you're wounded the most is also where your power lies. Another one that really kind of sat with me and made a lot of sense is, I think I shared it on my photo of the day thing on my Instagram, is you don't catch butterflies, you build a garden and let them come to you.
Yeah.
I think the meaning, the way I see it, the way it resonates with me is like, it's valid for everything in your life, whether it's your relationship or whether it's like manifesting, It's, if you keep doing what you're doing, aligned, and focus on the frequency you're aligned with, eventually the butterflies will come.
That's right. Yes. What you ripple out, you also, you're like a magnet too. And I think those are two such powerful messages. It's like you've got to, the wounds is where the magic happens. And also through addressing those wounds, you have a better garden, which is then more capable, more able to receive all of those amazing things that you are wishing to attract. And your story is such a perfect, almost like visualization of that, because you can see very clearly where there were specific moments in your life where you made specific choices, and then they created that next version of you that was the Steph that was ready for that next step. And that's really beautiful. I am so touched by, the depth of your story. And if anyone maybe wants to get in touch with you, perhaps even work with you, like they're interested in theta healing or coaching, how can people find you?
So I still haven't finished my website. So it's going to be on my Instagram account. And my Instagram account is Empowered Health Coaching.
Yeah. Yes. We'll link it up in the show notes as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Vic.
Thank you so much, Steph.
For creating and holding this space and making me feel at home and open up to you.
Thank you, Steph. That means a lot. Like, I just had to let that land in my heart, because it feels so, like, I feel so honored. It's such a privilege to hear your story and to receive that. And, I don't take it lightly, because there are moments there that even no matter how much healing we do, no matter how much processing we do, there's still weight attached in some of those. And you shared so openly and eloquently, and I think you are going to inspire so many incredible humans, to trust their instinct, to address those wounds, and take care of themselves. Trust their instincts. I channeled it through you.
This one was number one, actually. I forgot the number one.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wow, that's so funny. Well, there we go. Well, you subconsciously gave me the message and I got it. So number one, trust your instinct.
Yeah, number one.
Your instinct doesn't lie. Ever. It's there are much greater forces at play than we can imagine. Thank you so much for your time, Steph. I'm so incredibly grateful.
Thank you for having me.
All right, what an episode. I mean, there's so much juiciness in Steph's story, and I found that so synchronistic that the number one message that she wanted to share, which kind of eluded her mind, then ended up coming through me. It just really shows how connected and in resonance and in alignment we truly are. And it really resonates with me too, this notion of, trust your instinct, trust your gut feeling, because when has that ever lied to you? Never. Like, there are so many greater forces at play here that if you really learn to listen to the body, so much more becomes available to you. And I thought it was also really courageous for Steph to share the depth, the intimacy of her story, of how she really had to sit with the big feelings, the big F word that none of us want to be with. And she really had to work through it, because the way through is the way in, deeper into yourself, deeper into coherence, into alignment. And I know it might seem scary sometimes. I know it might feel like a lot, but I just want you to know that there is a way through. You are so much stronger, so much more powerful, so much more resilient than you probably give yourself credit for. And I can guarantee you that on the other side of whatever it is that you are avoiding, whatever it is that you have resistance to, there is a hidden gemstone just on the other side of that resistance. And of course, it can feel quite confronting and lonely to do that by yourself sometimes. So this is where it's so important to have a supportive network, be it of, fellow friends, family members, like trusted peers, or maybe you do wish to reach out and kind of get additional support from a coach, a therapist, a healer, or whoever else speaks to you. So I just really wanted to name that before we sign off for today's episode. And my call to action for you for today's episode is just to kind of, maybe next time you're journaling or reflecting on your life, have a look at where in your life you may be potentially numbing. So Steph was really courageous to share how, in her younger years, she really used to numb a lot with, say, alcohol and drugs and all these kind of work as well. And then at a later stage in life, she was numbing with a medication that was prescribed, but it wasn't actually serving her. And you see, sometimes when we're like in the midst of it all, it can be really hard for us to take that bird's eye view and perspective of, hey, like, where am I numbing? But maybe just these stories will start to help you identify, where in your life you may need to look a little bit deeper. So for me, a big warning sign is always overworking. I know that I often use work as a numbing tool. Other ideas and examples of what that could look like I'll just give you kind of some in my life, are binging Netflix, like to the extent where it's literally like binge, an episode after the other. Binge eating sometimes as well, like to the point of feeling really full and sick and just disgusting. So those are a few, and it's not to say that they're like never going to happen again or that they're bad or good or whatever. No, it's just information. And as soon as you have information, as soon as you have that awareness, with that awareness comes choice. So reflect. Where in your life are you numbing right now? And what is it that you are numbing from? Thank you for sticking around for today's episode. I'm so grateful that you are here. I really look forward to seeing you next time. And in the meantime, have a beautiful week ahead. Lots of love. Bye for now. All right, and just a little quick side note here. I know that in this episode, I have spoken extensively about IIN, which is the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and it has played a really huge role in both of our lives. And I will say that if there is any part of you that is interested in health, well-being, nutrition, and just even a small sprinkle of just juiciness that you would love to dive into a little bit more in a really supportive, self-paced learning environment, I really highly recommend it. It is how I got started. Now, it's not to say that you then, kind of make this your life. I mean, many people do make a career out of it in some way, shape, or form afterwards. And I also know many people who take IIN and the learnings they've got there just to make their own life better and those around them. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I am an affiliate of IIN. I'll post a couple of links down below so that you can get a discount code if you do choose to enroll. My top recommendation would be just to do their signature health coach training program. It doesn't mean you have to become a health coach, but it's just got like everything in it. But otherwise, they also have a lot of really great mini courses, such as like emotional eating or gut health, a detox course. There's honestly just like a plethora to choose from. Just have a dive in if that's something that you're interested in. And if you love to hear my experience, just send me a DM and we'll have a chat. The views and opinions expressed by guests on Resonance are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of me, Viktoria Levenberg, Live in Health, or anyone working within the Live in Health brand. This space welcomes a diversity of ideas, experiences, and stories, and part of Resonance is learning to take what aligns and gently leaving the rest. Also, while I am a national board certified health and wellness coach and deeply passionate about well-being, this podcast is intended for educational and inspirational purposes only. Resonance does not substitute personalized medical, psychological, or therapeutic advice. Always seek guidance from qualified professionals for any physical, emotional, or mental health concerns.